How do you not like Miami Cola?
All right.
Garbage.
And we're live. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up? How do you not like this? This is the best one.
It's not good. Especially you're drinking it warm right now. It's definitely.
Dude,
it
you
tastes
know what
like
the best one warm is? The best one warm
Rainbow Unicorn.
I've never had that. I have one over there. The best one warm is the jalapeno rain. It's nasty, but you drink it warm, it like feels like
You said it's nasty, but it's better warm than it is cold.
You drink it warm,
Makes
it
no
like
sense.
tastes normal. It tastes like alcohol or something, like tequila. Like it tastes like it's supposed to be warm. You drink it
oh,
cold,
like
it's
it's
like,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Like you're taking multiple tequila shots.
Yeah, that's what it feels like good tequila.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
Hard pass.
I have not had that one yet. I'll have to give it a try.
Just don't drink it cold. It's disgusting.
Don't drink it cold. Gotcha. I don't mind the Miami Cola. Miami Cola reminds me of RC, which growing up in the South, RC Cola was a big deal, and you could get it for like a quarter.
Yeah.
Or what you need is you have to sip on it. You can't like if you pound it like you can't pound a Miami Cola and
No.
work out. I like to just sip on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like it cold, but
It's basically a can of dip spit. Is what you're drinking. Straight up.
it's way better than that.
No, you can't go wrong with like any flavor of these.
The Rainbow Unicorn to me tastes like Skittles and Starburst mixed together.
I love the Rainbow Unicorn ones.
If you were a fan of Parks and Recreation and Andy's Mouth Surprise,
Oh yeah.
aka Skittle Sandwich.
Probably like the fucking the peach. What is that? Dreamsicle? Probably like
Yeah,
the
the
Dreamsicle because you were sucking on the jerks and stuff.
Yeah.
like
Well.
Jason.
Okay. If you say so. I don't see the correlation.
I mean, I don't know. Just saying.
All right, so let's give a little introduction to the folks. So we'll start over there on the left with Rink. Tell the people who you are, buddy.
I'm Andrew Rinkemeyer. Just a little background about what we're going to talk about, I guess. Former D1 player. Got introduced to this trying to get ready for my pro day. And I was just doing different stuff. Like in the past, I was doing a lot of speed work, things like that, jump training.
More traditional
Not-
kind of
yeah, not
powerlifting,
nec- yeah.
bench, squat, deadlift.
Yeah, not necessarily like really doing like conjugate type stuff and things like that we were doing in here to get ready. And I just kind of fell in love with it after. Football didn't really pan out, and then got into Olympic lifting on the side too. Started seeing how much more explosive I was getting as an athlete, and just fell in love with it. So I've been doing Olympic stuff for about a year now.
Yeah, and watching
Still.
your progress over the last year, just mobility, squat depth. I mean, like you said, the explosiveness has been,
Oh, yeah.
impressive.
Well, I think the biggest thing with Rink coming here, going from like doing the traditional like, I hate talking shit about college strength coaches or like people in the private sector.
Lean into that, Mike.
People in the private sector, but it's like it's all like the speed work. You got to sprint. You got to do this. You got to do the band sprints. You got to do this. You got to do this. Where in reality, when we trained him for his pro day and everything else. And we sprinted and did lots of technique work, biomechanical work, things like that. But the sprints were no more than, say, 20 yards at a time. But he got faster and more explosive because he got stronger, learned how to use his body better rather than do all these crazy amount of sprints. Like I made a post the other day on Instagram, like, don't fall into the speed trap of doing sprints, when it's more neurological and power and strength based rather than just sprinting all the time. Like, people just kill me with that shit. I think that's one thing that he realized when he got in here was, man, if I just get stronger, more mobile, and learn how to use my body better and run faster. Like I remember when you went to that random combine, like with a week's notice, you ran your best 40 you ran since you blew out both your Achilles.
Yep.
Like, and that's just from getting stronger, getting more powerful, and just practicing his biomechanics every day. Going into it.
And I wasn't really doing any speed training.
Like we weren't sprinting at all, not doing any agility work, and like
Just like
smoked all that
technique,
stuff.
that's about it.
Vertical jump was up, all that stuff. It's pretty
good
crazy
stuff.
what
No,
happens when
yep.
you just do it the right way,
Yep.
and not just the cool gimmicky shit you see online or on Instagram all the time.
What? The IG models don't know what they're talking about? They're not the industry experts? Are you kidding me?
No,
But they have so many followers, Jake.
I know. I wish that they were. They knew what they were talking about. But it is cool to watch. But I don't recommend doing any of that stuff you see on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or any of the stuff you see the pros doing, because the pros were gonna make it either way.
Yeah,
Like they're genetically superior.
Yeah, tip of the spear, right?
Yeah, like,
It's just like we talked about, they're the 1%. Like they can do whatever they want. They're gonna be that good
like,
anyway.
For instance, like before I blew my Achilles out at the Senior Bowl, like, I mean, yeah, I trained hard and I worked hard, always where I worked everybody, but my genetics were pretty superior. I mean, in high school I was running like a sub 11, a high 10 100-meter dash at 240. Big white kid.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna make it as long as I didn't get hurt, in which I got hurt. But like, if you're gonna make the NFL or baseball or NBA, like you're genetically superior, so you can do those goofy things that you can pay your trainers thousands of dollars for. That do they help? Maybe, because you're genetically better, you can just lift up a stone and get stronger.
Well, and at that point too, they're pretty much just fine tuning. Whereas the majority of us, we're on the. If you think about the old radio knobs, they're fine tune knob. We're the coarse tune knobs. We're trying to fix a lot of problems. They're just minutely fixing some details.
It's like you're on a spectrum, and it's like people are here, and they're just like, yep. It's like Bitcoin slowly going up.
They hard. Yeah.
Dogecoin. It's going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Exactly.
But and then I guess a little intro to me. I'm Jake Johnson. I started training when I was like 12 because I was a little fat ass and I got picked on a lot and I was tired of it. So I can remember 6th grade I got Pumping Iron DVD for Christmas.
So
I watched like 5 times Christmas Day, going back and forth from my house to my grandparents' house. And then from there, I had like the little concrete weights that nobody probably knows about anymore. Rink
old school plastic ones?
Rink probably doesn't even know about those.
Oh, dude, we had some of
with
those.
the concrete inside with the plastic cover.
Yeah, did you have that?
They're basically all gray.
I think my grandma.
So I had the concrete weights for a little bit, had those in my room, and then I got a Bowflex the next year for Christmas.
Nice.
And then just from there, it was just I saw my body changing, and then I can remember Christmas of 6th grade being fat and getting picked on. Then spring of 6th grade, we did like a field day, track day, and I was just smoking everybody and running, like 100-meter dashes and stuff. And I was just hooked from there, and I knew, like, well, if I just keep working out, I get bigger and stronger, I'm just going to become a better athlete. So throughout high school, did all that. College, same thing, never stopped training, always with the strongest. Pretty much one of the fastest kids on the team, either was at Virginia Tech or when I was at South. I mean, on the field, I was just as fast as anybody. And then blew my leg out at the Senior Bowl. My Achilles ruptured that, and that kind of derailed the NFL stuff. Never could really come back from that. Then after that, got my master's and kind of found CrossFit because I still wanted to compete in something. I really didn't want to do weightlifting or powerlifting because I was always super strong. I wanted to do something that a 6'2", 240 guy shouldn't be good at.
Yeah.
So I got into CrossFit, and like the first year was pretty tough because like I could do all the gymnastics, I could do all the running, I do all the lifting, but you throw it all together, and it's just like it was a cluster. But got good at that. Actually went to regionals.
Did you go on a team or did you go individual?
Went as a team. We went as a team. Man, the Open is the year that we went was the worst regionals ever.
2017, no barbells?
It was the worst. There was no bar. It was all sandbags and dumbbells and kettlebells. It was the worst. And then like judging was awful because for instance, like I'm 6'2", I have long arms, so you're supposed to be inside the box, but you can have your fingertips on the line. Well, my judge did not let me have my fingertips on the line for handstand push-ups. And where I'm looking at my partner next to me, who's a female, whose whole palm is on the line, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything because my teammate, but I'm just like, dude, like my shoulders are as wide as the box.
Yeah.
Like this is not fair.
That handstand, I did CrossFit for a while, and that handstand push-up standard, A, it changes every year, and B, they only take into account that standard size regional athlete that's like 5'7".
Yeah.
Where you're 6'2", I'm 6'3", you're what, 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'4".
6'4". I mean, for us to do handstand push-ups, you have to have a wider base.
Yeah, like just to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? So we did that. I mean, regionals. I mean, the Open that year actually really well. Couple years when my first Open I ever did, I got like 6th in the world in the clean and jerk after the first event, the
Nice.
Metcon or whatever. Like I did not do good at the Metcon, but the clean and jerk I got like 6th in the world.
Heck yeah.
And then after that, I did pretty good the following year. And then last year, I did really good. But the Open still, just for someone 6'2", 230, 240, it's so much just, not gymnastics, but it's just built for.
Well, normally the Open is volume-based, and then regionals, when they had barbells, was strength-based.
Oh, yeah, like regionals. If it was barbell-based, like we would have crushed it because we had some bigger. I mean, you had me, I was 6'2", 230. You had Hunter, who's like 6'3", 6'4", 215, 220. And then Garrett was pretty strong, and the girls were pretty strong. But, like, we were more built for athletic strength events where the regionals was like, you had the stupid snail or slow, whatever they called it. And then you have, like, the handstand push-ups in the Open were terrible, too, because I remember the workout, it was like a repeat of, say, like, 2014. It was, like, 50-calorie bike, 50 wall balls, maybe 50 handstand push-ups, 50 deadlifts, or like 50. No,
It was a row.
50 calorie row.
Yeah.
50 deadlifts.
50 wall balls, 50 handstand push-ups.
So like I literally, however it was, I can remember I knew there was at least 2 things before the handstand push-ups. I got to the handstand push-ups in like 3 minutes. Like I was on track to like be like top 10 in the world, and then stupid ass standing for handstand push-ups for someone tall in the open is just not fair.
Yeah.
But anyways, besides that, then I got out of CrossFit. The gym was doing really well. I didn't have time to train 2-3 times a day, a couple hours a day. So I got into weightlifting.
Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah, Olympic weightlifting, which I'm doing now. I've been doing it, I guess, almost 3 years now, strictly, maybe 2.5. Because the first year I did like a local meet, and then I went to American Open, and I got bronze at the American Open in the snatch. And then the clean and jerk, they said my elbow touched, which it didn't. We have video of it. But that would have got me silver in the clean and jerk and silver in the total in my second meet ever.
Is that the one where Cody lost his mind backstage?
Yeah, they did not like us. And I still don't think they like us because we're not the typical elitist weightlifter. We're like the weightlifters are like, they think they're better than everybody. It's not like strongman or CrossFit or even powerlifting. It's like, it's a very weird sport. Like there's some cool people. Like I met my coach there, Don, and my teammate Russell. Those are the only cool people there. And like everybody else was, I hate to say it, was a bunch of douchebags. They were not cool. There's some other cool people we met. But like a lot of them just thought they were better than everybody. It's like, what? No, like I don't get it. It was very weird.
Yeah.
So anyways, so after that, competed a couple other times. American Open the year after that, I think I probably had COVID because that was right before COVID. I was sick as a dog. Got silver in that, and then last year, you had COVID, so it was in-house. So we had to do it here at the gym.
Yep. I
got silver. It was the Nationals and that, so I got silver in both behind West Kit. So
who's going to the Olympics?
Yeah.
So not a bad person to come in second place to.
Person.
Not at all.
And still constantly learning and getting better and just figuring it out, the sport, each and every day, because it's a lot different than like CrossFit or football. Like when training for football, like you're doing it, but you're not really. You're just cleaning. Like you think you just got to rip that shit off the ground as fast as more explosive as you can. With weightlifting, there's a lot more technique that goes into it, and you slowly, as you get into it, and I'm sure Rink can attest, even Bacon and Rink, because once they start doing the weightlifting, they realize like the movement, it's different from Rink coming from football, Bacon coming from more CrossFit. Like the movements are the same, but they're totally different. They're totally different at the same time.
The more efficient way to do it.
Yeah, and that execution, that comp that I did, last fall, or 2 falls ago in 2019, just, having done, CrossFit for 7 years before that, and like you have to be perfect. You have 3 tries to be perfect on as heavy a weight as possible, and like you just feel that stress. But when you get that first one out of the way, then it's like, okay, it's not so bad.
No, for sure. And like doing just the pull in itself is different. Like, I was watching there's the Granite Games going on right now.
Yep. Started
There's
today.
a athlete in town who's at the Granite Games, and
Shout out to Jessica.
like she made her snatch, but like she's it wasn't a Metcon, but she's lifting it like a Metcon. So like those are 2 totally different movements. Like in Metcon, your butt's going to be high, you're going to use a lot of back, like just pull it up and get it. But when you're maxing out, you want to use your legs. Like it's a totally different the mechanical biomechanics are totally different from executing a max lift compared to max reps in a Metcon, where like when I would do snatches, when I would get in a Metcon, I would go from wide grip to medium grip to close grip. Like I would change up during the Metcon so I wouldn't get tired.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I'd get tired here, or I'd feel the fatigue, I would change up my grip, or I'd hit off my thigh, or I'd hit off my hip, or my pull would be different because it's just a Metcon, so I'd change it. But when you're maxing out, like that, you have to be so precise with your technique. For people to understand that, they don't want to listen to nobody.
Until you get into it, yeah.
Yeah. Until you really get into it and be like, oh shit, why am I missing all these lifts? Like I look like I'm good. I just missed it for one tiny little thing.
Yep. So, like they said, I'm Bacon. So I got into CrossFit back in the tail end of 2012. I was 32 years old before I had ever, done a clean or a jerk or a snatch. I mean, I'd done, typical, high school football, weightlifting. Played on the club football team at South, which, led to what you guys eventually played for.
Thank you.
Hey, no. It's a pleasure.
You see the picture.
I don't
There's
think I've
a
seen
picture
it
on
yet.
Bacon's Facebook of
I need to see
the
it.
old South jersey.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Clean
dude.
shaven.
Looking.
I don't think I was I clean shaven?
You didn't have
I mean, I was
a
definitely
beard.
baby faced.
You were definitely baby faced.
Baby
I
faced.
see.
That's
I
why
don't think
that's
I've-
why the beard's always here because I'm so baby faced.
I've never seen you without it, so.
Yeah, I don't like it. So, but yeah, I had done traditional weightlifting stuff. I mean, we had a Solo Flex growing up. You guys remember Solo Flex?
Maybe.
The predecessor to the Bowflex,
Sounds kind of familiar.
the Solo Flex. So it was like a all-in-one home gym, but it used these like super thick bands. So you put it on. It was kind of like before these bands, but they're smaller, but super thick. And I mean, you could bench, you could squat, you could.
And that was the adjustable weight.
Yeah.
Instead of like having actual metal weights, it was the band tension.
Yeah. And so you got this big stand. It's kind of like a power rack, but it was one it was kind of like a T, and then it went up, and so everything attached to that. But we had one of those growing up. I mean, my dad had some of the old concrete weights. We had those for a little while too, and then got to high school and regular weightlifting, bench, squat, deadlift, stuff like that. And then as I was growing up or as an adult, Globo gym type stuff, every once in a while, in and out when I had time or would force myself to go. And then both my brothers got into CrossFit and kept telling me to do it. But all I had seen at that point was CrossFit Games on TV, and I was like, I can't do that. Yeah, I'm not in shape enough to do that stuff.
Out of the gate.
But my little brother moved out to Austin, Texas. Was an hour off the plane, and he goes, "Hey, put your gym clothes on." I'm like, "Cool. What are we gonna do?" He goes, "Oh, CrossFit." So my first workout ever at CrossFit was Fran, like the prototypical CrossFit workout. Typical gym goers are gonna ask what your bench is. CrossFitters are gonna ask what your Fran time is. So that was my first one. It completely kicked my butt. I think I did thrusters with like 35 pounds, like a trainer bar with 10s.
Yeah.
My legs were wrecked for like 3 days, but I fell in love with it. Learned how or learned about the clean, the snatch, and the jerk and stuff in there. Did it for 7 years, became a level 1, eventually got my level 2 as a coach. And then when I came over here, started working out with you, is when I really feel like, we've kind of hit on it, but, I had learned what those movements are, but I feel like I've learned how to do them correctly in the last, year and a half, 2 years that I've been working out with you. Just the subtle things. And I mean, and I feel like I had some good coaches, but they were CrossFit coaches versus, somebody that really is dedicated to Olympic lifting. And as a naturally stronger guy, typically in a CrossFit setting, you get like 15, maybe 20 minutes for the strength portion. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're warming up, by the time you get to a decent weight, you're out of time. So, I mean, I've never felt like I really got a chance to learn and get better and improve. But it was just little things in here, keeping your hand, not, going overhead, like loose grip and then punching through. Yeah. That was one of the first things you told me. I was doing like overhead squats and you were like, dude, no, relax your hand and then punch through the ceiling.
No, that really helped me because I was having issues like overhead and my coach told me to do that and like it just fixed a lot of things. Like you're just punching out instead of being so tight and tense, like be loose. And then when you drive up, you grab the shit out the bar and punch through, and then all of a sudden, like you're locked out. And, it's helped a lot of people so far. I mean, I do it most of the time, or if I don't let my fingers loose, I'm having a looser grip on the bar.
Yeah.
And that seems to help out. But I mean, I think you said some good stuff too about how people just they think they know how to do the lifts because they did CrossFit or football weightlifting and stuff, and it's like. It's totally different. It's not the same sport. Like
no.
We're not. It's a totally different movement.
Well, that's training, and this is training for the sport of Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
Versus training for football or even the folks. Not to bash CrossFit. I think it's a beautiful program for could be for anybody, but you're also training. I mean, you're training more for general life preparedness or GPP as they call it.
Yeah. So like the normal Gen Pop person at CrossFit's trying to get in shape, stay healthy. So then on the weekends they can drink beer, eat all the pizza, and live a good life, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the guys that compete in CrossFit, which that's a sport, and they don't do CrossFit. They don't do CrossFit and compete in CrossFit. They do strength conditioning, they do metabolic conditioning, that's programmed. They do regular conditioning, aerobic, anaerobic, and then they throw Metcons in because that's their sport practice. They just don't do Metcons 24/7 and make it to the games. I mean, if you think that's what they do, then you are wrong, and you need to go Google some stuff.
Yeah, they're doing a minimum of 4 or 5 a day.
Yeah.
If you break it down, like something's
say,
pure strength.
I would say, for instance, like Anthony at the gym, he's probably one of the best CrossFitters in town, probably in the state. I know he was like top 20 in He was top in the world for the firefighters division for the CrossFit and stuff. But I remember he was saying he was going to get the Fraser program. I said, cool, let me see when you get it. And I said, I guarantee you this is what it looks like. And the day it came out, he called me or texted me and said, yeah, dude, it's exactly what it said it would be. Like, not to the T of like what they're going to do, but how it's broken down. And like a lot of people were mad because it was, all right, you have like a decent warm-up. That's kind of a Metcon and conditioning, but it's not really. It's more just to get your heart up and build up some capacity. Say like 3 rounds of like 10 calories on the bike, 10 strict pull-ups, 10 push-ups at a moderate pace. And then you had a bunch of strength work. Then you had a bunch of bodybuilding work. And then you had the conditioning, which was just straight up anaerobic or aerobic conditioning on a bike or a rower. And then it slowly put in more Metcons for sport practice and then get better at that. But he's also kept on increasing the actual conditioning, which people don't want to do. And when I would program for CrossFit, nobody liked it because
that's not the sexy stuff.
It's not fun to do.
Yeah.
It's not fun to go do sprints, sled sprints, and this and that. But that's how you kick people's ass in CrossFit. You get in just better shape.
Yeah, you listen to Spieler, he calls it grunt work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you listen to Fraser like talk on podcasts. You know, he said like typically once a week he would do a 90-minute bike erg.
Yeah.
Like every week. Well, nobody else is going to do that.
No, well, that's like Ray can talk about this in a second. Like, I don't think he ever got tired at his combines or camps or tryouts, but he never did football drills. He just did, I don't want to say strongman stuff, but he made up his own little conditioning with the yokes and the farmer's carries and slam balls and sandbags that were basically CrossFit, metabolic conditioning, but just interval style, if you want to talk about that. Like, how like you never got tired doing your stuff, but you never did football drills.
Yeah.
You just did conditioning.
Yeah, it was like, I like to call it like non-traditional cardio, I guess, or strongman cardio. Like I push the yoke. Yeah, just like 10 minutes straight of nonstop stuff. Or, you know, like sandbag, sled, down and back, 10 minutes straight. Get on the yoke, carry it, push it, 10 minutes straight, things like that. And then just like CrossFit stuff, honestly. Well, like rowing, calories
that's like,
and
how
stuff.
about like when you and Ethan would actually do some CrossFit stuff, because you've never really done that. And then also, like, you usually would smoke it. Not so much the gymnastics stuff, because you've never done that, but the actual, like, just say, like, normal, like, with barbells or kettlebells or that type of CrossFit workout, like, you probably smoked it because you were in shape from doing all the other crazy stuff over there from just doing conditioning, right?
Yeah, it's like, you know, just instead of doing, like, running 15 110s and just totally destroying yourself, you're actually, like, getting stronger at the same time instead of just completely burning out muscle and stuff like that.
But people don't want to listen to it because, like you said, it's not sexy. The sexy thing is like, you know, like when you were in college doing power cleans and stuff, and like starfishing it, and like putting straps on for power cleans, and like, just like bouncing it off your hip, and like
every PR in the college weight room spotted and stuff like that,
like
and then they
PR,
count it.
Like every PR is spotted. Like, I mean, I can remember when I was in college, when I transferred to the South, and nothing against our coaches. Like, I love Coach Schwinn and those guys, but
absolutely,
those maxes were terrible. I never let anybody touch me because, like, I knew what I could do and I knew what I couldn't do. Yeah. Like, if you're gonna touch me, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember in camp I did 405 for sets of 5 on close grip bench. Like, that's what I did. Like, and I called some of those guys that supposedly bench press 500 pounds over during camp to work out with me. And I'm sore, man. I'm beat up from camp. Like, because you're fucking weak. You're not really strong.
Soft.
You got those bullshit numbers.
Just spotted the whole time.
I mean, like you said, it's just CrossFit. They want to do the sexy thing, which is cool. Like, that's great, but
yeah, they just want to do all the Metcons and
but
stuff.
If you want to get better, you have to have a periodized program or a conjugate stopper. You have to have a plan. You just can't go and make stuff up anymore. Maybe when CrossFit first came out, like with stuff, like you could just make random stuff up and get better. But like, if you're gonna do it as a sport, you got to have a plan. Just like
I mean, now there's money in it, and so true athletes are gravitating to it versus just weekend warrior types.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, you've got to train like, I mean, year round. There's no real off season. You know, you got to push through it.
No, for sure. But people like to do the random, crazy, sexy stuff and not come learn how to do stuff like when we always try to have seminars or put information out and nobody ever wants to listen for some reason. I don't know why. When I was doing CrossFit, I was the best CrossFitter in town.
Yep.
And I was the biggest. But nobody wants to admit to that. Like when I was at the CrossFit gym and then they delete all my records, like number one on every single thing from like the girls, everything. But I don't know. It's whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Hopefully people will catch on one day.
A little salty still, buddy?
I mean, maybe now since I'm like a weightlifter and like I'm out of shape, I can't really talk shit anymore because I can't do that. I mean, I can still do all the movements, but like,
you wouldn't be the best.
I mean,
anymore.
like I do 2 cleans. I'm like, I want to just lay down.
Yeah.
Before I would do like, what's the wall ball workout?
The 150 and then
Karen,
So
150.
I did unbroken. Like it was nothing because I didn't want to do double unders.
Which, I mean, the only other person I've ever seen do it unbroken is Tommy Hackenbrook, who's basically your same size.
Like I did unbroken because if the workout, it was like you got to do 50 double unders or something every time you break. And I'm like, I don't like double unders. I'm not gonna break. I did it like 4:30.
Double unders are miserable.
But so.
yeah, I can't do them. Not yet, anyway.
It's practice. You just got to get in there and do it.
Mm.
Just chip away at it.
Yourself a couple times, you'll be
Just
all right.
just getting mad gashes on your shins.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
All right, so we're gonna take a break, do a little technique piece.
Yeah. So down below, I don't know how we'll enable it or embed it, whatever it's called on YouTube, to our
Embed it?
Embed it.
Embed it. Embed.
Embed it. Our StrengthWOD piece for some overhead stuff for jerks or snatches, but just to get more stable overhead and to get more comfortable because that's the biggest issue with not just weightlifters, but anybody doing something overhead from strongmen to CrossFitters to powerlifter, football players. Get stable overhead and get strong overhead. There's lots of technique things you can do and just drills to get that overhead stability better. So it'll be somewhere down here. You can click and watch it.
Yeah. And we're back. Nice little commercial break.
All right, so let's talk about what you guys did say, because you guys, I mean, I do something different since I guess I'm y'all's coach, and I have a coach myself. You guys, we plan on having to meet here in the middle or end of August, so this is like a 4-week prep to kind of get into meet mode. So let's talk about today's workout. Because Monday workouts, and I feel like Friday's workouts are usually like the good ones, like the hard ones, like we get like the highest percentages or the highest intensity or whatever we have that week. So let's see.
So we started with halting clean deadlifts.
So yeah, so the biggest thing with that, so with the clean deadlift, the halt, I don't know about you guys. Well, the reason I programmed that is you want to have a good pull off the floor. Like if your pull off the floor is messed up, if you're on your tippy toes or anything like that, like if your pull's messed up, it's not going to be a good lift, especially on the snatch. Now on the clean, it's a little bit easier because you can muscle it. It's a heavier lift, but if you get up on your tippy toes and the bar gets out in front, and then you catch it all funky, like there's a good chance you can miss the lift when you get heavy. But
so for somebody that is either new to CrossFit or Olympic lifting or just doesn't know it all, where does your weight want to be? If not on your toes, in your heels?
Well, I mean, some coaches say that. I like to just have kind of even from like the ball of your foot back. I mean, I'm a little bit different because
more into that midfoot area.
Yeah, I mean, just because I'm more of coming from an athletic background than a weightlifting background. So with most people who have done, I don't want to say real sports, but like sports with ball, like sports in America, because weightlifting is not big in America. I mean, it's getting a lot bigger, but it's not a huge sport here. Is if you're on the balls of your feet, that kind of gives people a little bit better idea of how to do things. If you say put it on your heels, they're going to be all the way back, and that's not
take it to the extreme.
Yeah, that's not what we want. But just that pausing at the mid shin and that slow pull off the ground kind of just ingrains the proper pattern for everybody without them really knowing that. And it's a good primer just before you do some cleans.
I always feel like my cleans and snatches move so much better when we do that first. Yeah. So a lot of times, even if you don't have them programmed, while I'm warming up with just an empty bar, I'll incorporate some of them. Yeah.
Just staying down and staying controlled off the floor.
Staying over the bar, yeah.
Bring up.
Driving my feet through the floor. That halting deadlift really, I think, helps me out with that.
No, for sure. Like I'm gonna bring up last week's because that was like a different cycle of stuff, and I want to see because I remember the past couple 4 weeks, I've been programming stuff before we actually lift. I don't know if yours will come. One of y'all's will bring because my app's not working for some reason. Last week or like the week before, because we're on a different cycle.
Oh yeah.
Like
What day you want?
Like last Friday.
Go to actually.
We did like GPP.
Yeah,
stuff.
go back to like the
week before that,
the 13th.
The 13th. All right.
Yeah. Or hold on.
So on the
we did all the
13th.
3 position stuff.
So like for instance,
3 position snatch.
So for instance, like one thing we did a couple weeks ago before we actually snatched, we did some push presses and some drop snatches just to get the patterns down, like the punch through, like head through, locked out, and then the drop snatch, different than the snatch balance. You literally like once you drive, you're driving it off your shoulders, but you're just dropping down. There's no driving up. There's no moving your feet. Like you drop under the bar as fast as you can, and that's just a good primer for when you go snatch. And then we did like a 3-position snatch. You have a high snatch, mid-knee snatch, or I mean, snatches could be anywhere, whatever the positions want to be. But it's either going to be like a high above the knee, below the knee from the floor, or I think we went from the hip above the knee, below the knee that week.
Yep.
You know, so that was last week. But like priming your nervous system before you do a lift really helps. Like for instance, Don, my coach, we've always had a funky problem with my snatch, with my right leg. I don't know if it's because I ruptured my Achilles, I don't have as much control or something, but like when I get super heavy or if I'm not kind of warmed up right, like I just want to stanky leg it and my leg does not want to hit the ground, and it'll internally rotate my whole hip and like I'll miss the lift. Like it'll be perfect off the ground, but if my leg's messed up, I'm going to miss the lift because I'm not in a good position. So one thing I do every day before I snatch, I'm probably going to start doing with my cleans more too, is I snatch onto plates. Like we try like hard snatches, like sending my feet into the ground. Like I think that's helped you guys.
Yep.
But like for me, like it just like that doesn't work. Like my brain and it doesn't transfer for me. So what we did is we got some 10 kilo plates or 25 pound or 22 pound plates, and my feet start a little bit closer, which has helped too on my snatch. But then I'm jumping and slamming my feet onto the plate, which the only difference is I'm on a plate rather than the platform. But for some reason, that just like clicks in my brain and my nervous system gets ready. And like,
it's like you can feel it or hear it.
Yeah, and like I really haven't missed a snatch unless it's just been a bad pull, like something off. I haven't really missed it because of my leg in the past couple months now.
Nice.
From doing that, and I'm sure when I go to nationals in a couple weeks and I warm up doing that, people are gonna look at me like I'm a fucking retard. But I don't really care because it's like when I go like 160, 165 or heavier, nobody's gonna say anything.
Well, that was one of the things I was actually going over that with Yvette yesterday. She was working on she was snatching, and she wanted to basically just like muscle it or just that like baby power.
Yeah.
And she was getting frustrated because she wasn't getting it. I'm like, well, you got to squat further. She goes, but I'm not as comfortable. If I go down, I just go all the way down. I was like, okay, we'll practice it without the bar. And then she'd do it. I'm like, all right, now slam your feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've seen Jake warm up like that, where he just like it's that work on that footwork.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the footwork's so important. I mean, Coach Bergner says, what, 95% of every missed lift is footwork.
No, for sure. And that's like I was watching Hunter say when he was working out with you. Like, I don't know if he was just hopping with you or just doing whatever.
I think he's just
doing whatever.
one of
But
those
like
days for
him, like he moves his feet in to a weird position, like a closer stance when he catches it. But Hunter's like 5'11", 230. Like he's a thicker guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like not fat, but like just like a thick country guy. So like when we get him on his next Olympic cycle, because right now he's just doing more conditioning and just lifting like one main lift a day and doing conditioning kind of like a normal CrossFit class. Just he has a lot going on. But I'm going to throw in those plate snatches because the feet slamming I don't think would work for him because he doesn't really move his feet. But if he has to jump onto something, like that's going to click in his brain. Where other people like this feet slam. But
Nice.
anyways, so what was after that?
So after that, we went into the clean pull into a power clean.
So I mean that's another good one, just like pulling it off the ground. So we did the pauses at the shin. Now we're doing a full clean pull. Then we're doing a power clean. So I mean you're just getting everything in with the pull. We went relatively, I think we went up like 75%. So I mean that's just more speed work, but it's ingraining the proper patterns in the nervous system, the brain. Everything is turning over. Because then after these 4 weeks, it's going to be 8 weeks of some pretty tough stuff, and then 4 weeks of really hard stuff, and then y'all are gonna either max out at the meet, or if we don't have the meet, max out here. So
Sweet. So from that, we went into the 3-second clean and jerk.
yeah, so that was our main lift. So the main lift was the 3-second clean and jerk, and like I said, so we did halting pulls. So we paused at the shin, and we did clean pulls and power cleans to really prime it and get us ready for the pull to be explosive. And then now you're doing a 3-second pull, which is pretty tough because what did we work up to? Same thing, like
So 78.
like 78 to 80% if you felt good. I mean, so you're pulling that for 3 seconds. That's a slow pull, and you got to make the clean, and then you got to make the jerk. And the jerk's easy, technically. Physically, it's easier than the clean, like 20% easier. But mentally, like after you do something like that, it can be pretty tough sometimes, right?
Make sure already gassed when you
Yeah,
when you get
especially
up
on
to
that
the top.
second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, there were doubles too.
Yeah.
I think we didn't mention that.
No, they're pretty rough because, like, I remember this week I had doubles at like 90-ish% or 85. I forgot. I had doubles at something. Double clean jerks. I think it was 85%. No, it was 85% double clean jerks on my program. It was just normal clean and jerks, but like it was like 395. And for some reason, I like to not wear wraps or belts sometimes because I want to feel strong and like manly and not like a little bitch. But like the first clean, I mean, my cleans have been pretty heavy the past past year. My cleans have not felt very strong, so they've been a grind. But I got it. Smoked the jerk, into the next clean, got that relatively easy, and then like the jerk was just not there. I was just smoked, just tired, and then I dropped it, came back to it, cleaned it again, barely missed a jerk, pissed me off. Then I did it again, barely missed a jerk. So then I did it for a 4th time, and then I finally made the jerk. But it's just like the jerk is all mental. Like it's not. I mean, it's definitely technical, but it's so mental because you think about it, you have 3. Like I did it for a double, or you do a single. You have over 400 pounds. You clean it, and when it crashes on you, that's 3 times the amount of force. So you're looking at like anywhere of 1,200 to 2,000 pounds of force coming down on you. You got to absorb. Then you got to stand it up. Then you got to pop it right, catch your breath right, and then get your mind right to jerk it overhead. Whereas if you could just take your mind out of it, it's probably a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's another tip you gave me. I guess when we were getting ready for the meet back in 2019, one day it was a couple weeks before we were working towards we weren't at max. We were 90-95% or so, but I missed one, and you just walked over and you were like, you rushed it, slow down, and again,
Be quick, but don't hurry.
coming from CrossFit, you clean it, and then big breath, go. It's like no, like make sure you're completely composed.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not just with Olympic lifting, it's not just get it over your head, with your arms up. It's like you gotta land it locked out, and so if it doesn't hit right, so take that second, make sure you're ready.
Well, for sure. That's like with Rink today. He was. I wasn't watching because I was doing my stuff, but you were talking to him because he made it, but he was frustrated.
He
So
got
what
it up.
happened?
He got it up, and he just had that. It was just the slightest soft elbow. So he hit it there, and then he had to extend it. So it was just and most people would have not even noticed it. But it was you felt it because you kind of looked at me when you dropped it, and it's you just gotta hit it locked out, and for you just got to get down under the bar.
Yeah, and like I was telling him afterwards, I was like, dude, just don't rush like Bacon was just saying, like, don't rush it. When it gets heavy, you want to rush it because you're like, I got to get this off my chest. But be composed because when you rush it, the dip changes, the drive changes, all your patterns change. So if you just do the same controlled, if you do a fast dip and drive with lightweight on all your weights, then that's fine. But don't, if you have a nice controlled drive working up and then all of a sudden you get heavy, then you rush it.
Yeah.
You're going to either press it out, you're going to miss the lift, your feet aren't going to be right. Everything's got to be the same.
Yeah.
Nice and controlled, and then explode up, or fast, but it has to be the same with every single lift once you start getting to about 70%.
Yeah.
Because if you try to rush 85% or more, you're going to miss it. Like yesterday.
Oh, any little fluctuation, and
Like yesterday,
you're not going to hold that weight.
I had pause jerks, and I was working up to 90%, so I had 415 on the bar. beltless because I'm a savage.
So, well, hold up. For the folks, pause jerks. Are you pausing in the dip or are you pausing when you land?
So, well, I've been pausing, holding it overhead too. Because
Okay.
I need to get better at that because for some reason, like when you do CrossFit, you just get it up, you get your feet together, you just drop it, like you're good. But in weightlifting, like you gotta get it down command, you gotta do all these things, so you want to get comfortable with that. But I was pausing in the dip position, but I missed the one before, and like just watching the video, it's like I was more shallow in my dip. I wasn't doing what I needed to do, and you just can't think about it. Like you just have to do you just got to do what you do every single day. And then I smoked it afterwards. And when you just smoke a jerk, like a heavy jerk, and it just feels like nothing, it's like, man, why can't I do that every time?
Good.
Like it just flies up. Like it just like pops through. And then when you have something that's moderately heavy, but say like 80% or heavier, but it's like a struggle, you're just like, oh my gosh, this was so heavy.
Feels 3 times heavier than it really is. Yeah.
It's the worst feeling ever.
And then when you stick it, then you get the bar slam, which is like, the best.
No, for sure.
That bar slam. Oh, come on, man. I love that bar slam.
Oh yeah. Frank loves them some bar slams too.
Well, when I get them. But yeah, no. Today I think I was just rushing it, and my dip was too shallow,
Yeah.
and that made me go shorter, and I didn't stay long when I split, and then that made me press it out at the end.
Once you rush anything, I mean, it's pretty much like anything. All the three lifts. I mean, the 2 lifts, but like all 3 of them. Like if you rush your pull off the ground, your ass more likely will shoot up. Your ass shoots up, the bar path's going to be different, and then who knows where the bar is going to be. Like a couple, like people can get away with it. Like John North, his butt shoots up, but like he can get away with it. Like he's super athletic and like that's what he does. But other people, like I used to do that when I first started out, but as I got more into the sport, I had to realize, well, I can't do that. I have to use have more control with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like use your legs. Like don't use your back. Use your legs. Your legs are strong. We squat. Everybody squats. Like if your legs are strong, your pulls are gonna be strong.
Yep.
Where in powerlifting, if your back's strong, your pull's gonna be pretty strong. Even if your legs are strong, but if you have a really strong back, you can deadlift the shit out of something because you're using a lot more back than you are legs. Whereas weightlifting is the complete opposite. Where I thought, well, I'm gonna smoke this shit because I could have a 7+ deadlift without a belt. I'm gonna train that, but it's totally different.
Totally
Because
different.
you want to use those legs.
Yep. Yeah, we haven't squatted quite as much as we normally squat. I mean, nearly every day. But we only squatted, 2 or 3 times this week?
Like these last couple cycles, we haven't been squatting as much, but the ones before that,
Yeah, it felt like,
it's every day.
it's like do whatever and then go squat. And then go squat. Which, I mean, I don't mind squatting, getting stronger. And my numbers are still going up, so I mean, I'm good. I'm good. I'm hitting heavier weights than I've ever hit.
I'd like programming the squat every day type stuff, probably like 2 or 3 times a year for like a 2-month cycle, because it's a great shock to the nervous system and it's a great change up. Because usually what we do more of a conjugate style with our main lifts. And when main lifts, or I guess you'd say secondary lifts for Olympic lifting. Like so our squats or our pulls or our presses, like we'll do some sort of conjugate style with a dynamic type day, which is really just 75% to 85% or even 90%. But if we throw bands or chains on there, we'll lower the percentage. But the goal is to move the bar super fast. That's going to transfer to the sport. Or we have a max effort day where we're going to hit positions that we suck at. Either it's right above 90, below 90, things like that, hitting those positions. But when we're not doing a conjugate cycle like we normally do, I would say 6 to 8 months out the year, I will program the squat every day. But we'll only max out once a week, a true max out, because everything else will have some sort of variation with a pause or a chain or a band or a funky bar that we have. But, it's the goal is to get like 85%, move it fast. But then I'll have like a day where it's, hey, max out on this, and it could be like a safety bar squat. You're maxing out with a 5-second pause or something, but we're never going to do a true, I can't think last time we did the squat every day, we did a real just regular front squat or back squat max out that didn't have some sort of variation that didn't let you truly,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like those variations are what's going to get you better, and those variations are going to pull you back a little bit so you don't just completely fry your nervous system so you can come back and do it the next day. If you're just maxing every day, after about 3 weeks you're going to be dead, especially since you can't take drugs in the USA for weightlifting. So you're not going to make it.
Can't sustain it.
No, but like so if you throw that variation in there, you're really only hitting like 85% of a true max.
Yeah.
Even though you're maxing out, giving maximum effort, which is what we want, the stimulus is going to come, but the fatigue's not going to be there as if you would literally max your back squat every single day to failure.
Yeah. Unless you work out with Cody, because then you're basically going to max out every day.
Cody, but Cody comes in twice a week. He maxes out, he does bodybuilding, and he just gets better because he can recover the 5 days in between.
Yeah. And unless he benches, then he's sore for 7 days.
Yeah, can't do anything. It doesn't get out of bed after that.
We'll eventually have him on. Cody's a trip. All right, and then we had so we got done with that, and then it was just accessory work: reverse hypers, glute ham raises, and back
extensions. A lot of posterior stuff. I mean, you need to have a strong posterior chain, hamstrings, back, but like I said, with all the powers and the cleans and all that you do, and with people don't think about it, like when you're doing your pulls, you're working your quads. As long as you're doing your pulls right, like you're pressing off the ground. You're not really pulling, you're pressing. Like my teammate Russell, he has a podcast, and he used to be on John North's podcast, and he talks about the press off the floor, not the pull off the floor. Because if you pull, think more like a deadlift. You're pulling with your back. But if you think about pressing with your legs, that's quad.
Yep.
And with this cycle right now, where we're not squatting every day, we're not getting as much leg volume in per se, but I mean we're pulling a lot more. Like I mean, there's no like everything every day this week. There's some sort of pull now. There's no just upper body jerk day. Like there's pulls every single day.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how I've always coached. That first pull off the ground for deadlift and snatch. You think about that Globo Gym leg press machine. We've got one over there with the big plate.
Yeah.
You're basically sitting in a recliner and you're just pressing. Like, okay, the platform is now that big plate, press it away from you.
Like a standing leg press.
Yeah, because if everybody else is thinking pull, it's not. Like if you start pressing with your legs, it gets so much easier. I can feel it in my warm ups. Like if I'm pulling versus pressing.
Well, I think one thing that we have here that nobody's ever. I mean, some people have done it, but nobody's done it like we've done it, and we'll do another StrengthWOD on it probably next episode while I'm thinking about it. I'll program it the next 4 weeks going to meet is doing all the eccentric, concentric, kind of the triphasic stuff with the belt squat with the bar in your hand that nobody does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that teaches you like you are using all leg drive. So we have 2 belt squats here, 2 Rogue ones, which are pretty good. The West Side ones are probably the best, the top of the line, the ATPs. But the Rogue ones for the money you can't beat. Their pitch sharks suck. The hammer strength ones suck. All the ones that have the pendulum or the weight, the angles, like that you can do 1,000-pound leg like squats. Those are bullshit. I mean, the Rogue one, you throw 350, you throw 345s on each side, and you don't use your hands. Good luck trying to stand up. Yeah, you got to be strong as shit.
Yeah.
But what we do with that is we'll do like a triphasic style thing at the end of the workout where we'll do like 2 weeks of eccentric, going down slow for 5 seconds. Then 2 weeks of or actually the third week we start at this past third time we did the third week, we did it. We went down slow for 5 seconds and then we let go of the bar and we exploded up as fast as we could. That's what one of our buddies who's a strength coach at Southern Miss told us to do. That I think that helped out a lot.
It's crazy how at the end of a workout how like nasty those are.
No, they're the worst. And then the next 3 weeks are coming up slow. Then the last 3 weeks are just regular pulls. You're not making contact because you have the belt on your hip. But the biggest thing I like about that, the transfer, and I do those myself, I program those into my own workouts. My coach knows that, is it teaches everyone to use your legs. Because if you don't use your legs on that belt squat, it is going to throw your ass up, chest forward. You're going to bang your head on the safety pin. And then when you throw the bar in your hand, and then you have weight on the bar, even if it's only 60% of your snatch, when you have 60% of your snatch, then you have like 60% of your snatch on the trolley, then you have bands on there. I mean, it is a leg workout that if you don't focus on the leg drive, it's you can't do it. Like there's no way to stand up. It becomes a good morning.
Yep.
But it all transfers back to the platform because it's. I mean, if you do 5 sets of 3 with 5-second eccentrics, I mean, how long is that you're just focusing on legs in that position with the snatch or clean? When you come back to the platform, I mean, the transfers like that, especially doing the triphasic stuff. Even if you don't do 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up, 5 seconds, all that. If you just do pulls with that, that's going to transfer because you're brain, your CNS is starting to pick that pattern up. It's going to become more natural, especially if you have issues. Like if you don't have a belt squat, we used to do it redneck style with the rig. We would hook it up with bands. It was a pain in the ass, but you can do the same style thing. Or if you get on some blocks and just put some weights on like a belt, like a dip belt, just work on that pull. I mean, it's all legs. If you focus on your legs, it's going to transfer over, I think.
Yep. We'll show the folks that one. The if they don't have the belt squat way next week too.
Oh yeah, how to hook it up. That's a pain in the ass. But
I mean, but it works. It works.
It works, and it sucks. I feel like it actually feels worse than that because it's all bands. Like
Yeah.
Load.
Yeah, those days. I mean, those heavy days where we have a ton of stuff to do, and then those are at the end. It's like, all right.
You're just fighting the band the whole time too.
Yeah. You got to get amped up to go hit that. All right, guys, we are at 50 minutes. So, I mean, in closing, I think we discussed different name ideas for this. What we're gonna call this?
Yeah, we had a couple. I don't know. We just throwing some things around. We don't really know what we're gonna call this, like the Savage Barbell Podcast or the Barbell Savage Cast or
Strength Pod,
or
Stronger
Thing Cast, Amp Cast. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, just comment down below, subscribe, follow us, share the video. We'll eventually get an Instagram up for the podcast, but until then, you can follow me at Amp Performance Mobile, I believe. Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah, Performance Mobile.
Yeah.
We'll link it.
Yeah, we'll link everything down below and all the clicky buttons and all that cool jazz. But help us come up with a name. And if you come to the gym, you kind of know what we're saying is savage, not average. So try something in that vein to go with this.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
all right, where can they find you, Bacon?
So Instagram, I'm Built of Bacon, and then Jeff Bacon on Facebook.
Mr. Rink?
Yeah, I'm just _Rink, REINK on Instagram. That's probably the best place to find me.
All right. So, till next time, guys, remember, like us, subscribe, share us, watch the StrengthWOD down below, and then we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you like it. Give us feedback and help us come up with a name.
If you have any questions, you're struggling with something, then shoot those in the comments. Give us some subjects that y'all want to hear us talk about that we can help you out.
No, for sure. Like if you have any struggling with anything when it comes, not just weightlifting. I mean, the gym that I own. I mean, we have everything. I mean, there's more equipment in here than most Globo gyms, minus the cardio equipment. I mean, we have over 100 different barbells from weightlifting, powerlifting, specialty bars. I mean, we have these wagon wheels that the strongmen use that are like 150 pounds each. We just built these silver dollar deadlift things. It's built. If you ever watch a strongman where they're deadlifting like the safes. We have that. I mean, we have calibrated plates. We have a monolift. We have competition bench. Our leg press that Baker was talking about earlier is like over 1,000 pounds from Elite FTS. Nobody has. It's literally the biggest leg press in the world.
Yeah. We got that camber bar. What's the kid from Daphne? Zach?
Yeah.
He and his dad were asking me, which one's the camber bar? And I was like, the one that goes and down. And he just started shaking his head like, yep, that one. Yeah. The one that makes you do that every time you have to use it. That one. But it works.
But yeah, so if you have any questions about anything, powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting, CrossFit, sports performance, I mean, shoot us, DM us, any of our Instagrams, comment down below, and we'll get back to you for sure.
Cool. See y'all next week.
See you.
Peace.